They were aware that he had acquired a firearm. The mother at the time wanted it out of the house. How he acquired it after that, we don't know.
Today, new details about the Central VPA high school shooter and how his family tried to intervene. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. Police revealed more about the shooter's past and how his parents tried to get him help. We have team coverage on the school shooting tonight. We'll hear from parents and how you can help the victims. First, though, we start with Sarah Mackey. She is live outside police headquarters where investigators gave an update on the investigation. Sarah?
Kelly, more really tough news to emerge after that tragedy. Today, investigators painting a picture of a mother who tried to intervene in every way, but ultimately it would be other families that paid the ultimate price. Today, walking up to the podium, interim police chief Michael Sack, he said the shooter's family has been cooperating with investigators, telling them about all the ways they tried to do right by their son, yet unaware of what he was planning. Family members say they searched his room, checked his mail, worked with health professionals to get him treatment, even having him committed. And Sack says in just the last few months, they even called police, his mother asking them to take a gun from her son that she, quote, wanted it out of her house. Now, Sack says that the shooter did leave a notebook in his car, saying his family did not know exactly what he was planning.
They made every effort that they felt that they reasonably could, and I think that's why the mother is so heartbroken over the families that paid for his episode.
Sack says that they did take that gun from the shooter and gave it to another adult. He says at this time it's really unclear how that gun or possibly another gun might have come into the shooter's possession. He says that they are now working with federal investigators to figure out that part. Reporting live tonight, Sarah Mackey, 5 on your side.
As police learn more about the shooter, we want to remember the 2 people who died in that shooting. 61-year-old PE and health teacher Jean Kuchka and 16-year-old Alex Bell were killed. 7 other teens were hurt in the shooting. Those victims are receiving an outpouring of support as people from around the world donate money and other resources to help with expenses.
5 on your side's Travis Cummings is live from the school to continue our team coverage. Travis.
Mike, Kelly, you know what? It's so beautiful to see memorials like this one continue to pop up. We've seen thousands of dollars go to families, victims already through GoFundMe pages and social media. As our community only begins to process this pain, families are expressing gratitude.
There's just been a mix of emotions from fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of trauma, to gratefulness.
It's a pain no parent should ever experience.
My baby was looking into the face of the shooter as he was shooting.
Vondina Washington is home today, comforting her son, 15-year-old Brian Collins, an aspiring artist who loves to draw. The gunman who stormed into health class at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School shot him in both hands and his face. This week, his family is getting the support they'll need for his long road to recovery.
I had someone else reach out and said that they were trying to create a meal train so that I wouldn't have to worry about cooking.
More than $75,000 have been raised to help with Collins's medical bills alone.
I'm just grateful. I just thank God for, I hate that I had to get it this way, but I just thank God for the amount of people that's pouring into my family right now.
Collins's classmate Alexandria Bell, who administrators say was well on her way to touching the world before she died, is also on the minds of donors. $18,000 have been raised to help her family with funeral costs.
Just a wonderful personality, pretty serious student. She was working on how to advocate in a most astute manner and diplomatic manner, and I would say that she was working on that as well.
In a helpless moment, a token of reassurance.
Stay encouraged. I know what it looks like right now, but we don't know what God's plan is next.
As always, if you plan on giving to the families affected by this tragedy, make sure you check those sites to see if they're legitimate first. We'll have a vetted list inside the story at ksdk.com. We're live in South City. Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
And just over an hour from now, there is a balloon release and vigil for the victims of the shooting. It's at Central VPA High School starting at 6:30. People can bring yellow, black, or white balloons. Parents are still in shock dealing with the reality that their children survived a life and death situation.
A father tells our Ryan Henson that he's going to be reminded of this tragedy every time he drops off his children at school. Ryan joins us in studio with more on that father's experience. Ryan.
Yeah, it's parents' first instinct, I think, protection. So obviously when your child is in a situation like that, the first thing you want to do is do everything possible to make sure that they're safe. And that's exactly what happened to this father right here, Michael Bishop. He got a text from his daughter inside the school saying that there's an active threat and that she was terrified. So what Michael Bishop did after that, he immediately got in his car, weaved through traffic, trying to get from his South City home to the school. He saw students climbing out of windows, pouring in from all directions. Students were running, screaming, and crying, he told me earlier today. Bishop says things were happening so fast there was just no time to think. Thankfully, he found his daughter safe and went home. Now, the hardest part, it's the healing. Bishop's daughter went to elementary school with Alexandria Bell, who was killed. One of his daughter's favorite teachers was another victim, Jean Kushka. Now the Bishops are trying to figure out the next move academically and emotionally.
Her entire school life from this day forward is going to be affected and changed. The stresses of taking a test now have the added stress of a potential event like this in the back of her mind.
And this morning, Bishop says he was still on an emotional roller coaster of anger and frustration. He's even considering putting his daughter in online school and looking into some alternative methods. He says, while in class, his children need to be focused on academics, not personal safety. Mike?
And we have a list of resources for people who are impacted by the deadly school shooting. Just text the word HELP to 314-425-5355, and we will send you that information.
Tonight, the mayor of St. Charles is accusing Ameren of releasing chemicals into the ground, threatening the city's water supply. While it is safe to drink now, he says that may not be the case soon. St. Charles has shut down several wells. Now the city may have to buy water from St. Louis City, which will cost residents.
The findings are alarming, and I'm concerned that our long-term viability to be able to provide safe drinking water to our citizens is at risk. Shutting down these wells provides a temporary solution to the problem. However, a long-term solution is absolutely necessary.
Ameren says the EPA found that it did protect the water supply.
We did have many years ago at that particular substation, we know that we used some chemicals to clean our electrical equipment in the substation. And some of those chemicals did go into the ground. And so when that was brought to our attention, we took immediate action to deal with that.
The city of St. Charles says it entered into a consent agreement with the EPA that allows the EPA to ask for public comment on the issue.
A school the Archdiocese said will close might stay open after all. The decision that will determine the future of Rosati Kane.
How the low Mississippi River levels are impacting an historic city in Missouri.
And weather-wise, boy, a beautiful day today. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the lower 60s. There is some rain on the way. We'll time it out and the amounts coming up.
Tonight, the new MLS stadium is finally at full power. City Park Stadium has been struggling with power issues for over a month. After water got into the stadium's communications and electrical room, it resulted in some exhibition games being moved out of the stadium. St. Louis City SC credits several electric companies for fixing the problems.
Rosati Kane High School in the Central West End could qualify for historic status. The Archdiocese of St. Louis planned to close it at the end of the school year as part of a consolidation plan. On Monday, though, the Preservation Board voted to make the school a city landmark, and a new organization called Rosati Kane Forever plans to take it over and run it as an independent school. It still needs final approval from the Planning Commission and the Board of Aldermen. Rosati Kane Forever tells us there's an open house at the school this Sunday from noon to 4 p.m. Any 8th grade student who would like to attend the school next year, they are asked to send their enrollment preferences to the Office of Catholic Education and Formation. That needs to be done by November 15th.
The low Mississippi River level is impacting business in Kimmswick. The American Queen riverboat was supposed to dock today. Usually it brings in tourists from all over, along with business for the city. The mayor says the city had 13 boats scheduled this year, but of only 4 have docked.
I have never seen the water this low. Most of the time, I talk about what we're good at. And what we're good at in the city of Kimmswick is not drowning. We're excellent flood fighters. And the other thing we're good at is, you've already talked to some people about that, we are logisticians. We have a 6-block area and we're gonna put 100 to 150,000 people through here in 2 days. But we have never seen water this low.
Mayor also says he had a call with leaders from the Army Corps of Engineers and the Coast Guard about what they're doing to help. One of the issues they're running into are costs to keep up with things like dredging. And this weekend, Kimmswick will get a lot of money from its annual Apple Butter Festival. It's Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. both days. There will be hundreds of food, drink, and craft vendors. People can park at the Windsor School to catch a shuttle bus to the area.
Sticker shock, the plan from the White House to save you money.
The White House is cracking down on surprise fees. CNN's Chris Wynn reports from Washington tonight on the new rule that could save you money.
Today, my administration is announcing new actions to lower the cost of everyday living for American families, to put more money in the pockets of middle income and working class Americans, to hold big corporations accountable.
The Biden administration is now taking action across agencies to help cut down on so-called junk fees, defining them as designed either to confuse or deceive consumers or to take advantage of lock-in or other forms of situational market power.
These are junk fees. They're unfair and they hit marginalized Americans the hardest, especially low-income folks.
According to officials with the National Economic Council, the fees fall into 4 categories: mandatory fees that often hide the full price, surprise fees that consumers learn after purchase, exploitative or predatory fees, and fraudulent fees. The White House points to hidden charges and added fees on airline tickets, hotel bookings, and cable bills. And the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is issuing guidance on some banking fees.
We're taking enforcement actions, like one against a large bank for charging illegal overdraft fees, and customers will see hundreds of millions of dollars in refunds.
The new rulemaking process aims to make fees more transparent and comes with the midterms less than 2 weeks away.
This is an attempt to tell voters that they are trying to ease the pains of the pocketbook, because that's what Republicans have said over and over again.
Chris Wynn, 5 on your side.
Tonight, the U.S. Attorney General talks about threats to voters ahead of the midterm elections. NBC Nightly News hears from one sheriff stepping up security.
I think that whenever you see an issue of concern that has the potential for escalation, the best thing that you can do is be ahead of it, nip it in the bud, and show that you're going to be intolerant of that type of behavior, because it can become contagious.
That's in about 13 minutes on Nightly News after our newscast. The general election less than 2 weeks away, and we have a guide for voters for both Illinois and Missouri. Find out more about the issues, the candidates, and where you can vote. Just text the word GUIDE to 314-425-5355.
Well, Jim, the rain has moved out. It's a beautiful, sunny, very fall-like day. I had a coat on earlier this morning.
But he did tease
yes,
more rain.
Yes, he did. So we're curious about when this is going to happen, Jim.
Yeah, Saturday night and into Sunday. So I think most of Saturday's dry, but the clouds really thicken up on Saturday. So Saturday night and Sunday, and then amounts coming up in just a second here. But wanted to show you 4064 eastbound. Look at that. So Scotty and I found actually an accident right at Clarkson. So there's an issue there. Wanted to point that out. Plus the leaves are changing colors, and with all the wind over the past couple of days, we've had a lot of those leaves falling down onto the ground. But here's a beautiful shot here from Jeff Castle, Powder Valley, and one more shot of his. Just a beautiful autumn colors out there, and that will continue, but a lot of the leaves definitely are coming off the trees. Today, not as gusty, 62 for that high, 41 for the overnight low. And we're at 60 right now. Not too bad with a north-northwest wind at 6 miles an hour. That's a lot lighter than it has been for days. 44% on that relative humidity. So clear now. Like Scott was talking about at 4 o'clock, a little bit of cloud cover out here. Not expecting any rain from this system, but the clouds definitely on the increase, especially tomorrow. Overnight lows tonight in the 30s outside of St. Louis, about 41 in the city. Highs tomorrow with clouds on the increase, probably upper 50s to low 60s. And then on Friday, about 64, and definitely some clouds mixing in, but staying dry. But then a low pressure system comes out of Texas, moves up into Arkansas, close to Memphis, and then throws some light rain into the area. Probably not until Saturday night, but also into Sunday, and probably most of Sunday, some showers from time to time. And some of the models now are showing really about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, St. Louis north and westward, but our southern counties possibly as much as 1/2 an inch of rain. So not as much as what we had, but definitely a chance of some rain in here. But then for Halloween, the trick-or-treaters, things maybe starting out cloudy in the morning, but by 5 o'clock, 59, and at 8 o'clock, 54 degrees. So it looks dry for the trick-or-treaters. Great news there. All right, just cool jacket weather. Temperatures over the next few days in the 60s, and then maybe next Tuesday after Halloween, we're warming up. We're getting sunny. 70 Tuesday, 72 Wednesday. So the really warm weather is coming back.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. Jim, thank you. Adam Wainwright will be back with the Cardinals, but there will be changes for next year. And will Nolan Arenado be back? Frank Cusimano sorts through all that next in sports.
Outside of the Cardinals now needing to hire 4 coaches and Adam Wainwright announcing he's coming back to pitch, not a whole lot went on today. First, the staff. The hitting coach, Jeff Albert, is stepping down. He was offered a job, but he didn't like the external criticism directed his way. Pitching coach Mike Maddox is leaving also, along with bullpen coach Brian Eversgerd. Also rather intriguing is the fact that Nolan Ryan hasn't told the Cardinals yet if he's opting in or out. On paper, it seems like this is a match made in heaven. He gets to play with Paul Goldschmidt in front of packed houses and makes $35 million next season and $140 million over the length of his contract. John Mozeliak, where do we stand?
He asked some questions on, how we were thinking about the club, what we're thinking about in the future, topics like, how are we going to deploy our resources? I'm, again, hopeful and optimistic that we can come to a place where we're both happy and have that understanding, but he just wants a little time to think through that.
The Blues are back in town tonight after their West Coast road trip, and they'd love to repeat the shutout performance they had against Edmonton just a few days ago. They'll have their red-hot goaltender in net to try and make that happen. Our Corey Miller is live at Enterprise Center with the story from there. Corey, take it away.
That's right, Frank. Just 4 days ago, Jordan Binnington led these Blues to a 2-0 shutout in Edmonton, and now he'll be in between the pipes against the Oilers tonight, trying to repeat the feat. Now, Binnington has had a great start to his season. He's 3-0 and at the top of most goaltending lists in the entire league. He's third in the NHL in goals against average at 1.65 and fifth in save percentage. And his coach and teammates know this version of Binner is one to be feared.
Binner's doing what he does. I think he's moving the puck extremely well, which is important. He looks dialed in to me.
Yeah, I think he's among the best in the league when he's at the top of his game, and he's shown that time and time again. And when he's playing like that, there's not too much we got to worry about, but just being solid in front of him. So we know if we do our job, he'll do his.
Binnington had the shutout last time. It'll be even tougher to replicate that feat tonight. The Oilers are coming off a 6-goal outburst against the Penguins in their last game. That'll do it for me at Enterprise Center with photographer Randy Schwenker. I'm Corey Miller. We'll send it back to the studio.
All right, Corey, thanks very much. And they'll be dealing with the guy named Connor McDavid, who, if you ask any player in the league, either past or present, who's the most gifted player in the league, it's Connor McDavid. They shut him down last week. I doubt if they'll shut him down tonight. But as Corey mentioned, Jordan Binnington has just been out of sight.
Your gut feeling about Arenado, this has me concerned.
Okay, I asked that question to Adam Wainwright about an hour ago, and he said, don't worry about that. I'm recruiting him. Goldie's recruiting him. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. He just wants to make sure the Cardinals are committed to winning a championship, and I don't blame him. We need somebody to hold the organization accountable, and if it's Nolan, I'm fine with that.
All right.
Nice.
One last check of the weather with Jim.
All right, thanks for talking that out because I was getting worried there too. 61 for tomorrow. Clouds on the increase, and really that rain chance holds off till Saturday night and into Sunday, but dry for Halloween. And then we're back in the low 70s by Tuesday and Wednesday.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 5.
Nightly news is next. We are back at 6. Have a great evening.